Welcome back to another EDH deck tech and my further exploration of mono black. This is my Ghoulcaller Gisa deck. I had built this into a Nafi the Betrayer King deck, which I do like. So that's a Dimir zombie tribal deck. But I thought while I had the cards, I'll make a deck tech on this version. There's a lot of differences between mono black and Dimir zombie decks. Dimir kind of adds a lot of utility cards and a lot of draw cards that you probably don't get with mono black, but with mono black you get a lot of fun zombie tribal kind of cards that you can add that you wouldn't just add in a Dimir deck because you're just going to add more powerful card draw. So we'll go through it. So Ghoulcaller Gisa is great. I want to be sacrificing creatures, so sacrifice my zombies and creating more zombie tokens. The interesting thing is it does create tokens based off power. So sacrificing a 2/2 zombie will give you two 2/2 zombies, and I have plenty of ways of pumping up that power to create 3-4 zombies at a time. So really fun and easy to start swarming the board. A lot of effects that run off dying and zombies entering. So yeah, really nice, really fun. So first up, so we have Carrion Feeder. Carrion Feeder, great value, 1 mana. You can't block, but who cares? You don't really want to. It's there as a sack outlet, so if somebody's going to wipe the board, we can sack and start getting some of those death trigger benefits, which is really great. Crypt Breaker, another nice one. It's going to allow me to start putting things into the graveyard and start getting those zombie tokens out, so then I can sacrifice those zombie tokens to get more zombie tokens. You see how it works. But it also allows us, if there's a board state that we can't really attack with, we can just draw some cards. So really nice. It's just 1 mana. Gravecrawler, great. We will usually have a zombie on the board, so this is going to come back a lot. A lot of die triggers that this will work with, a lot of enter the battlefield triggers that this will work with. That's really nice. Stitches Supplier, another cheap one, just 1 mana. It's going to start filling up our graveyard. We do want our graveyard to start being filled up. We haven't got a real focus on that. You could probably change out the deck a little bit to get more of a focus about filling up that graveyard. But it's there as a lot of zombies like to come out from the graveyard, and we want to be bringing stuff back from it. So it's there just to help fill out. Relentless Dead, another great one. Super cheap and efficient. And the nice thing is it just keeps coming back. It's going to give itself back to us, or we can get another zombie. So just nice value. Shepherd of the Rot, just super great card. So it will have to tap, so you will have to untap with it. But each player will lose, 5 life at a time, 10 life even when we start getting some of those tokens. Do keep in mind that this is all players, so it will also affect you. So, make sure that your life total can support it. But yeah, just super powerful card. Let's just attack on a different angle. Undead Augur, great value. You're going to be drawing cards. Your zombies will be dying, so it's really good. And yeah, we're just going to draw more cards from that, which is nice. Cemetery Reaver, the first of the Lords. So Lords being things that will give all my zombies a nice effect. So +1/+1 is quite common, and they usually have something, some other thing strapped to it. So this one's nice. It lets us a little bit of graveyard hate, and we get a nice little token. So not bad value, but it's there for the +1/+1. Death Baron, one of the better ones. It's going to give all our zombies Death Touch, which is really great. So people will be less incentivized to swing into us, and we can swing into people pretty safely. Diagraph Colossus, really great one. It will be larger depending on if we've milled a lot into our graveyard, but it's there really to, when we cast zombie spells, to just create more token zombies. So it's there just to go wider as well as go tall. Fleshbag Marauder, pretty common. It's going to be a little bit of removal. You can get it down early. You can get rid of some early setup creatures. There are better creatures of this effect, like Plague Crafter, but this one's a zombie, so it makes a cut. Lord of the Accursed, Another zombie +1/+1 gives menace, so if we want to swing out for an alpha strike, that's quite nice. Lord of the Undead, another one +1/+1, but this one also lets us return a zombie to our hand, which is really nice. It's only 2 mana, so really good. Midnight Reaper, another one that's kind of like Undead Augur, where our creatures are going to be dying, and we're going to be drawing cards from that. Great. Motorist Rider, just a nice little utility kind of card where it gives us a removal spell, as well as a zombie, and that zombie has lifelink. So if we have some lords out, it can get quite large. So getting some of that life is quite nice, but it's there for its flexibility. Plague Belcher. So we're going to have a lot of zombies dying, a lot of zombies coming back and then dying again. So getting that loss of life on our opponent is trying to hit our opponents at another angle, kind of like Shepherd of Rot. You'll notice there's a lot of these opponents lose life effects, just so that if our tribal like combat steps are just not working, we can hit at a different angle. Zombie Master, another Lord. This one doesn't give +1/+1, but it does give Swamp Walk, which is really nice, and also regenerates all our zombies for 1 black mana. So if there's a board wipe, we can hold up some mana for that board wipe and then regenerate some of our zombies, as well as Swamp Walk, so allows us to swing out with relative safety. Corpse Augur. So this one I don't run in a Dimir version, but in a mono black one, I will for some of that life gain, and life loss as well as draw based off of it. So it's the number of creatures in target player's graveyard, so it can be any player. So it can include ourselves. So if we're starting to mill, but if there's another mill player, you can target them as well. So that's quite nice, and you can kind of work out how much you want to draw based off this. So yeah, quite nice. Graveborn Muse, another one. So at the beginning of the upkeep, for each zombie you're going to control, we're going to draw cards and lose life. Now this is not a May trigger, so do keep that in mind that you must draw. So yeah, try to manage your zombie count as best, but it's there for the draw. Nice. Khalid is one of the few non-zombie creatures. So here it's a little bit graveyard hate, which is always nice, as well as creating those zombie tokens and some lifelink, and also a sack outlet as well, which is nice. But it's there just for creating more zombies and create quite a lot of zombies. We've got a bit of removal in here, so that would be nice. And we want to create more zombies. Risen Executor, one of the more expensive lords, so it does give +1/+1. It can't block, but it's not really what we want. It's there just for the lords, the lord effect, and it can kind of come back on its own. Now that part can get quite expensive, so it's not something you do very often. But if you just need to get a creature out and you don't really have any other plays, you'll pay that extra, no problems. Vengeful Dead, another one where our zombies, when they die, our opponent's going to be losing life. So, it helps prevent board wipes and things like that, because, if we've got all of our tokens out, people are going to be taking 10 life loss. So, it can get quite a lot quite quickly. Undead War Chief. So this one makes our zombies cheaper, which is really nice, and also gives them +2/+1. So a little bit extra attack, which is great. And then Grey Merchant of Asphodel, classic. We've got a lot of zombies, so we're going to be having a lot of devotion because we're going to have a lot of those zombie permanents down. Our tokens aren't going to affect that, but we still have a lot of permanents. There'll be a few enchantments that will go through as well. So our devotion can be generally high, so we're going to be hitting people for 10 or so. So with that life loss that we're hitting them with, and with this, it kind of later in the game, it can really end games. But Grey Merchant of Asphodel always does that. Noxious Ghoul. Another really nice one, so whenever a zombie enters the battlefield, all other non-zombies are going to be -1/-1 until end of turn. So if you can recur Gravecrawler over and over again, it's essentially going to wipe the board, or if you've got just some cheap zombies that you're going to be creating, then it's really going to start whittling down people's boards when it's like -5, -5, or you got Ghoulcaller Gisa, and you're gonna get 5 zombies. It's gonna be great. You're gonna essentially keep wiping the board over and over and over. So great value. Grexing Delver. Another one. This one just gives us a creature that comes back to the battlefield. So we've got some big zombies that we might want to bring back. Things like the Noxious Ghoul, for instance, or some others. So just bringing them back to the battlefield is really where we want to go. And this is another zombie. Sidisi, great. It's a sack outlet, so it's going to come in. It's going to sacrifice. We can just sacrifice a token, whatever. It doesn't really matter. And then we can search our deck for any card that we want. This is a more casual side, this zombie tribal deck, so there's no like demonic tutors, vampiric tutors that I would normally play. So just this nice on theme tutor, I think is fun. And Death Touch is really nice. Grave Titan, another non-zombie, but it makes zombies, so it can make the cut. Just a big beater, but it's there just to create more zombie tokens. And then Machias down Hollowed, great card. It's going to give all of our zombies Undying, so they're going to come back, which is really nice after they die. And it's going to give them +1/+1, which is what we want. Humans attacking us are going to be destroyed, but it's usually not that big of a problem. But it's there for the +1/+1 and Undying. Neutrograph Mob. So this is an interesting one. It's on the more of expensive side, but every time our spells cast, we're going to get more and more zombies, which is really nice. I don't really have any synergies to add counters or anything like that, so it's really just going to give us our 5 zombies, but at some point they're just going to spread out, which is quite nice. And those zombies are 2/2s, but we'll have some lords. So there'll be 3/3s, 4/4s, so on. That's quite nice. Okay, some zombie support cards. So that was all of our zombies. Now we're on to zombie support. So Dark Salvation, it's going to create X zombies, which is great. So it's a bit of a mana sink, as well as remove a creature for each zombie that we have. Sometimes you just need to pay this for 1. Or X being 0, and you've got enough zombies to kill that creature that you need to get through, that indestructible creature. So the fact it's -1/-1's really helpful. Endless Ranks of Dead. It really only works in a zombie tribal deck, obviously, but it can be a bit slow. But once it's out, and once you've got zombies, it's very powerful. So it's going to be making a lot of zombies. So it's quite nice. Something that you want to kind of get out as early as possible, and hopefully then be able to get some zombies on the way. Liliana Death's Mastery. Another one, it's there to create zombies. It's there to bring creatures back, and it can destroy all non-zombies. So it's pretty much not going to fit much of our deck. It's going to destroy a lot of people's creatures. So yeah, just great value. Liliana's Mastery, another Lord, but this one's not a creature. It's going to give +1/+1 to all our zombies, and it's also going to give us 2/2 zombies, which will essentially be 3/3 zombies. So it creates some bodies for Gisa, as well as pump up some of our zombies. So it's quite nice. Open the Grave. So another one where our creature's going to be dying. So we're going to get some of that value back. We have a lot of tokens, but a lot of non-tokens as well. So we're going to get some of that value back, which is nice. Liliana Dreadhorde General, one of the best planeswalkers in the game. So it just does everything. It's going to create tokens, which is what we want. It's going to protect itself. It's going to draw cards when our creatures die. It's going to be sacrificing creatures, as well as the ult can be game winning. So just all round great value. All right, some protection. So Malachite Rebirth. So we'll protect maybe a key zombie or Ghoulcaller Gisa because it's very important to our strategy just to kind of help churn out some of those zombies. So it's going to be there to help if somebody does want to take it out, as well as the land on the other side. So just really great value if I need to. Rise of the Dreadmine, another one where someone's going to be ready to board wipe, so you have this ready to go. Foretell, it's only one black mana to kind of keep it up. So if someone does board wipe, we're going to have 10 zombies. So it's just going to really like give us a great advantage after somebody's board wiped. People are starting to rebuild their boards. We've already got 10 zombies coming out or ready to go, and then on my turn I play another lord, and then start swinging out at people. So it's not really going to affect me. Living Death. This is where we have some of those sack outlets to, in case if we do this, we'll hold priority. We'll sack our board, and they'll all be in the graveyard, and all of our creatures will come back. We'll have things like noxious ghouls, and other creatures that will be making our opponents lose life. So just great value. Our opponents may not have graveyards set up for this, so you're going to get a nice almost game ender with this card. You want to kind of set that up. Zombie Apocalypse, another fun one that I've got in this one. It's just going to return all those zombies back, so we can sack all those zombies and then just return them back, which is really nice. It destroys all humans, but it's probably not really going to matter too much. But the fact is now we're going to have such a large board because we've filled up our graveyard. The game's gone long. Going to bring everything back. Okay, now with Ghoulcaller Gisa's tap effect and a lot of other tap effects in this deck, we've got some haste enablers, so lightning greaves, just to give haste and a little shroud protection to our commander, as well as swiftfoot boots, same thing. We want to have that tap ability as fast as possible, if possible. 1,000-Year Elixir does a very similar thing. It's going to allow us to play Ghoulcaller Gisa and then immediately tap to start getting that zombie value, as well as we can pay to untap and keep tapping and untapping and keep tapping. So really nice value. Stormbite Staff is a really interesting one where essentially it's going to allow us to keep tapping Ghoulcaller Gisa. The unfortunate thing is that we do have to pay a mana for Ghoulcaller Gisa, but the fact is it's going to untap, we're going to sacrifice a creature, and then it's going to untap again, and so forth. Now, it can be expensive to equipped, but this is really a good way of us churning out a lot of zombies. Alright, some draw. So I always put in Night's Whisper into my black decks, just 2 mana, 2 cards, great value. Sign of Blood, same thing, except it targets a player. So if you need to get somebody that's milled out their library, you can. Ransack Lab, just an interesting one. Is not that efficient, but for 2 mana, you're going to put some cards into your graveyard, which is where I want them to be, and I'm going to get the best card out of that. So it's nice value. But this could be, another, Necropotence or something like that if you wanted. Pact of the Serpent, another one that I've put in that I'm kind of liking. So we're going to choose a creature type, which will be zombie. And we're going to just draw cards and lose life for the amount that we have. So just, really nice. 3 mana's fine to pay for that kind of effect. But it could be a draw 10, for instance. Probably, hopefully not, with that much life, but yeah. Phyrexian Arena, just kind of get there just to get over the game kind of value. You're going to be getting a card every turn, which is kind of nice. We want a lot of cards because we're going to be playing a lot of creatures, and we want to be playing a lot of them at the same time. So we want to be double spelling as soon as possible. So this is just nice to keep our hand nice and fresh. Read the Bones. Another one's kind of just like Knight's Whisper, Sign of Blood, except we get the Scry. So these kind of cards kind of go together. It's a nice simple card draw. Feed the Swarm. So again, it's some removal. So just great card. It's pity it's sorcery, but we can deal with any creature or an enchantment if there's a pesky enchantment. Maybe there's like a rest in peace or something like that. You want to hit before you start filling up a graveyard. Falls of Despair, just a nice one that deals with anyone that's kind of gone off on a turn. Maybe you've got an opposing Ghoulcaller Gisa that's kind of gone and created 10, 20 zombies. This is something that just can kind of clean that up, which is great. We've got some card draw to support it, so if we ever need to play it for free, we can do so. Baleful Mastery, another one I've been putting into a lot of my decks, where it's just a cheap exile. The draw effect doesn't really matter. You might give it to an opponent that's about to lose, or you're going to swing out at them anyway, so you might as well just give them a card. And just 2 mana for that exile, really, really nice. Daily Relic, just super cheap. We want to have our commander out, so this is going to be free. It's going to be exile target creature, so great value. Hagra Mauling, normally, you wouldn't pay 4 for this kind of effect. You're rarely going to get it for the 3. But the fact is, it's the land on the other side, so minimum it's just a tap land. Else later in the game, it's a removal spell if I really need to. Okay, so some board removal, mass board removal. So Damnation, just super efficient, 4 mana, it's just going to destroy everything. Mutilate, it's going to give everything -1/-1. I have a lot of swamps. So, it's going to get around indestructible, which is really great. Necrotic Hex. So normally I play like Toxic Deluge in this spot, but I've gone with Necrotic Hex in this one. 6 creatures is quite a lot. It's going to get most people's boards entirely, and then you're going to have zombies, and then those zombies, are going to be 2/2s and hopefully 3/3s and 4/4s. So it's really nice to be able to swing out after a board wipe. Okay, some ramp. So we're in mono black, so we don't have that much ramp. So Soul Ring, just classic. Arcane Signet, now classic. Fellwar Stone. Black is a popular color, so somebody will be paying black. Else, this is just taps for colors, which is fine. Jet Medallion, we've got a lot of generic costs in zombies. There's a lot of 1 and a black, or 1 and 2 black, for instance. So a lot of generic costs. So this pretty much reduces a lot of the cards. So just great value. Allows us to double spell, really nice. Mindstone, great. If we really need, it's going to allow us to redraw. Thought Vessel, the maximum hand side's not really going to be much of a issue for us, but it's there just as a 2 mana. Mana Rock, Bontu's Monument, all our creatures are black, so they're all going to cost 1 less than a big chunk. Almost a third of our deck is creatures, so we want that to be cheaper, as well as it's going to start with that 1 life draining that we want, as well as a little life gain. It's nice. Okay, the lands. So I haven't got a fully optimized land because this is more of a casual kind of deck. So Baron Moor, just as a cycler, just to, if we need some draw later on the game, we can, which is nice. Paducah Bog, Graveyard Hate, always have it. Cabal Stronghold. So this one is like Cabal Coffers, but it's only on basic swamps. So we have a lot of basic swamps, but this can help to start ramping us into the late game. Castle Lothwain, just as extra card draw. We're going to be dumping our hand a lot with zombies. So we're going to have maybe 1 or 2 cards in our hands sometimes. So just being able to draw and pay a little bit of life to get a card, which is nice. Crypt of Agadine. We're going to be filling up a graveyard with a lot of zombies, so this will help ramp. Pity comes in play tapped. But you know, we can start getting 3, 4, 5 hopefully off this, and start producing better. Ghost Quarter, I put all this kind of land destruction lands into my deck. Depending on the budget, it'll be a Ghost Quarter or Strip Mine or Wasteland. So just because somebody will have a Cabal Coffers, a Guy's Cradle, Field of the Dead, it was a Saga maybe, I don't know. So you really want to target those. You'll have something to help target those. So I do have Ghost Quarter in this deck. A Mirrored Landscape just to help ramp and get some of those swamps out. War Room, another great one where we're mono black, so we're only going to be paying 1 life, so it's like Castle Locthwain, but better. It doesn't tap for the black, unfortunately, but you know, it's just great to have card draw on a land. And then Witch's Cottage, just to get a creature back on top of our library if we would need to start, you know, maybe we're not really drawing much and we want to get like a Corpse Augur or something onto our top of our library to start drawing again, or into Undead Augur or something like that. Just get a bit of reuse out of that graveyard, which is nice. And then the rest is just swamps, a lot of swamps. As is pretty normal with these decks. So that's my Ghoulcaller Gisa deck. Just super fun. I really like Zombie Tribal, and this one's nice because it gets to attack at a different angle than perhaps some tribal decks. So a lot of fun. Go.